Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is August 12th. It's Wealth Wednesday. We get to learn from Daine Clark. Daine Clark has a really cool story, and Daine Clark is also who's been leading our evenings on Thursday with our intro presentation. So I'm so grateful that he spends his time with us and helps us provide value to our business. Daine was working 2 jobs before Renatus. He was actually working for Apple and as a roofer. He was a roofer because that's what his dad did. And as far as Apple goes, he was actually working in the back because he wasn't very outgoing, wasn't very good at sales or working with people. And so they had Daine working in the back, working with counting cell phones. And so he has just grown so much, gone from someone who is really, really shy to someone who is very confident and taking massive action in his business. He was barely making ends meet at the time, and so he knew he needed to make a change and started looking for other income opportunities, and Daine found Renatus. He plugged into the system, he listened to his mentors, watched his education, and applied Velocity Banking. Because of that, he was able to get into a duplex where he rented out one side, lived in the other. And if we fast forward to today, now Daine has raised over $13.5 million to go towards different investments. Let me go ahead and get that mute. All right. So yeah, Daine has raised over $13.5 million to go towards various real estate transactions from different investors. And his secret to that is consistency and frequency. He has grown his team and is recognized by our CEO, Bob Snyder, as a key leader. He is on the PIT team, meaning he's in training to be on the PAC, the President's Advisory Council. And we are very fortunate to get to learn from Daine this morning. Good morning, Daine. How are you? Good morning, Daine. Are you there? There you are.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, good. I was like, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Wealth Wednesday. Let's do this. Yes. All right. Good morning. Let's check. I had a bunch of people in the comments. Good morning, Ann. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Arif. Good morning, Ada. Good morning, everybody. All right. I got some good stuff today. We had a really good chat last Wednesday. Totally went off what I was planning on doing, but I got some good stuff for you guys today. I always have good stuff for you guys, right? That's what we do here. So, all right, if you guys know what to do, go ahead and chime into the chat box. Tell me, how many people did you talk to in the last 7 days? I've got some. Good morning, Rico. I got some stories of my own too that I would love to share. Had a bunch of conversations about real estate investing, about Renatus. I've got a doozy of what do you call this? A rejection, if you will, that ended up like happy ending rejection kind of thing. So I'll tell you guys a cool story. Yeah, tell me, how many people did you talk to in the last 7 days? Did you get in front of a Thursday night? Did you get in front of a Wednesday night house tour? Let's see, do we have something on Saturday? Ooh, Super Saturday. Did you get somebody in front of what else we have going on? Cash flow games. I mean, you name it. Did you send them a video and did they watch it? Did you do a one-on-one, right? So me, I always count my one-on-one time with people because that's where I know for sure. If I'm meeting with people one-on-one, that's where I'm going to ask for the order. That's where I'm going to put their credit cards in. Okay. So let me count my own really fast. Let's see how many one-on-ones did I do in the last 7 days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, that was for real estate. So 7 one-on-ones for me in the last 7 days. Let me chat into the chat box that. So 7 one-on-ones. Sweet. Working it. All right, let's give some love here. And as if you've never heard me say this before, oh, I love Anne. You got the first goose egg, so I get to pick on you. I get to give you a little loving. Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't say it like that. I get to send you a little love, a little happiness, a little success, right? Even if you report a goose egg, an honest person is the one who does business, because people do business with who they trust. People do business with people that they can tell you're not trying to fake it till you make it, if you will. People do business with those who act as if. People do business with those who are honest. So, Anne, even though you said goose egg this week, watch what happens in the next 7 days. Watch what happens in the very next conversation that you have with somebody about real estate, right? So Deborah, she said 2. Esther had 5. Keely had 5. Gilda had 7 on the intro, and 1 one-on-one. Great job. Maggie had 4. Good morning to you as well. David had 1. Sherry had 1 one-on-one. Yes, you always have good stuff. Thank you. Sherry, 4 to the intros, 2 to Chris Wilson. Super Saturday. Rico, I have 1 one-on meeting me tonight. Congratulations. David Robinson had 1. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Is it Cho? Whoever, it's spelled CHGO. Is it Cho? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Good morning to you too. And 2, Kim had 5. Good morning, Brigham. 11 one-on-ones last week. Congratulations, man. I have done 3 one-on-ones since Monday. Sold in Essentials. Great job. That's awesome, man. That is absolutely awesome. Scarlett, everybody give him like a fist bump on the camera. Bam. Okay. Let's see. Scarlett had 4. End times. Enterprises. I was like, end times? I have never met somebody named that before. End times Enterprises had 3 people. Roy had 4. Megan Dale. 28 new leads. 12 to PT. What's PT? 12 to a PT.
Property
to
tour. Property tour.
Oh my gosh. Man, all these little acronyms. I'm getting them. Property tour. Got it. 12 to a property tour. 8 to an intro. 2 one-on-ones for this week to close. Awesome. Autumn had a goose egg. Watch what happens on your very next conversation. I promise you that. Let's see. Chi, 2 talks. 1 intro, 2 for Chris Wilson. Awesome. Doesn't Chris Wilson just like deliver? I love the guy's personality where he's just like, take no crap from nobody, cowboy kind of guy. He like wears his cowboy hat on camera. Property tour. Bobby, property tour, 3 briefings, 5 for Saturday, 1 intro. Awesome. The Opportunity Creators chapter says, dang, I only talked to 1 person about marketing. Well, you don't have to talk about marketing. You talk about real estate. That is how I have made, Renatus, I have generated $1 million, over $1 million in revenue with Renatus marketing because I didn't talk about the marketing, which is interesting, right? I talk about real estate. I talk about deals. I talk about properties. Like I started before I was actually doing any real estate, I started by talking about properties I was just looking at. I hadn't bought anything yet. So don't feel like you have to talk about marketing every time. Talk real estate. If it makes you uncomfortable to talk to somebody about the marketing, then don't. Talk about real estate, because in my experience, everybody wants to talk about real estate, especially right now. There's so much money being made in real estate. LaShawn, 5 and growing for Chris Wilson. Chuck had a goose egg. Isaac had 2. Estrin had 5. Grace, 2 one-on-ones confirmed. 2, but 1 confirmed to Chris Wilson. Noreen, egghead. ordering new rat dropping cards, business cards. Okay, go. Yeah, what's a rat dropping card? I've never heard of that before. All right, let's move on. All right, next up, let's help somebody who who you are. If you've seen me do this on a weekly basis and you've never come off of mute yet, you know who you are. It's your turn. So come off of mute, tell me your name, where you're from, and tell us something that you've experienced in the last 7 days, last month. I don't care. Something that you've experienced where you're like, you know what, I could get some help on this. I saw this. I think this, right? If we need mindset training, if we need technique skills training, if we need some stories based on your experience. All right, who do I have?
Hey, Daine.
Who do I have? What's up? I've got 987-0581. Identify yourself.
Yeah, I'm on the webinar, but it's easier for me to call in to my phone. I'm the Opportunity Creators chapter, but it's Jeff Wilson.
Jeff, what's up, brother?
You're doing well. Just a question. When velocity banking is such a sweet, if you will, to talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the approach, the conversation that you're having with someone is around velocity banking. How do you word the invite to a property tour or an intro, knowing that velocity banking is going to be the topic like at the end?
Mm-hmm. I see. So do you have a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you? And is that you? Is that your children in the background, or is that somebody else? If it's your children, no worries. I've got
That's my kid.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure it's not somebody else's kid. So if it's your kid, perfect. Love hearing that sound. Okay, so question is, in basically creating intrigue with velocity banking, when you know that, like, let's say you're going to introduce them to my house tour on Thursday nights, where I'm going to talk about real estate, and then I'm going to finish off with velocity banking, and Jeff says, I don't want people to feel like it was like bait and switch, whatever, because they came and it was all real estate, and they're sitting there thinking like, I thought this was going to be about a banking thing, whatever. So in essence, I have a couple of questions for you before I answer that question. One is, do you have a negative experience around this already? Or have you had a negative experience because of this topic? Like, do you have a story for me?
No, short answer is no. I'm the one that commented last week that I just barely started focusing on the marketing last week.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, I think about so many people that maybe not. I get a vibe from them that maybe not real estate is an interest to them, even though we may not talk about it explicitly, but but then I just, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, oh my gosh, velocity banking can be amazing for you. But then I'm like, I don't know how to, come out and say it, do the invite when
I hear you.
When it's going to be based mostly around real estate.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the reason I asked that question is because first off, the story is in your head, right? You're telling yourself a story.
Yeah.
You're saying something to yourself like, oh man, if I, then this, right? If I, then this. If I invite somebody to the thing, if I don't set the proper expectations, then I'm going to look like an idiot unless they stick around to the end and they get their velocity banking training.
Essentially, yes.
Really, it's going to be as simple as setting the proper expectations. So when you bring up real estate, when you bring up velocity banking, I would say it like this. I would say something along the lines of like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I saw a real estate investor bust out this strategy for me, or break down this strategy for me, or showed me an example of how they're paying off real estate, even their own homes that they're living in like lightning fast, right? Cutting their mortgage into thirds even, and paying off, or faster, in paying off homes. Because then you just drop the words real estate investor. And so you say, I saw a real estate investor bust out how they are doing this. Right now you're leading into the event, right? Because you've been to like my training or Michael's training or anybody that teaches velocity banking at the end, they're going to talk a bunch of real estate, and then at the end they're going to talk about velocity banking. And so one, you introduce the idea. This is coming from a real estate investor's mouth, and so they're going to be like, okay. And then you start talking about the strategy and whatever it is that you're creating in your story. Now, again, you haven't created any experiences around this that have gone negative, at least. And so remember that so far, any stories that are happening are in your head that go negative around this. Okay. So one, make sure that they know it's from a real estate investor's mouth. Two is just say, like, let's say you do the invite. You say, yeah, you should come and check this out. In fact, I've got a real estate investor buddy that, let's say you're going to introduce them to a Thursday night that I'm going to be talking. You say, yeah, in fact, let me introduce you to a real estate investor buddy that, that is a friend of mine. I mean, I know him personally, and he's going to actually share one of his deals that they got $100,000 discount on, and they're going to turn around and sell it. And after, he's talking about some real estate stuff, but after that, he's going to bust out how, like, he paid off his house in a single digit number of years. He helped his parents that were in their 60s pay off their house in a single digit number of years, and countless other people that had 30-year mortgages and are on track to pay off their houses in a single digit number of years. Would you want to come with me to that? And then you invite them, and then you just say, cool. So he's going to talk about his deal. He's going to talk about that property, got $100,000 discount on. If that is of no interest to you, no worries. Stick around to the end, and he's going to start busting it out. And you can even say, like, if real estate is, just again to calm your mind, because negative stories, you can even say, like, he'll probably start talking about it like halfway through ish, something like that. So just to make sure you catch it, like, maybe jump on right at like 7:40 Mountain Time or something like that. Just again to calm the mind. Now they might want to see the real estate deal, whatever, but you're giving yourself permission, or I should say giving them permission to tell you what they're interested in. You want to come see the deal, $100,000 discount, and turning into a flip or a rental or whatever, or do you want to come and see the the velocity banking, or both?
Cool. Awesome. I like that. Thank you very much. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Anybody have follow-up questions around that? Oh, let me share my screen. If anybody has follow-up questions around that, let me know. If not, I'm going to share some stuff. All right. Share screen. Cool. Okie dokie. Keely, would you be okay watching comments for me if we've got questions while I'm on this? I mean, I'll try to jump back as often as I remember. But when I share screen like this, I can't see your faces. It's crazy. Like, I love seeing people's faces so much more these days on the Zoom calls and stuff, because, well, social distancing. So, all right. So a couple of things I wanted to share with you guys. I got a little story of a gentleman that I connected with, and, just in my constant day-to-day life where I'm always, right? Like, literally, my wife knows this. she can't take me anywhere, and I'm going to say the phrase investing in real estate to anybody that I meet, anybody that I talk to, wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, whenever it is, any time of day or night, I'm going to say it. And I've been trying to develop a little better of a formula, if you will, because I've got my formula, but oftentimes I find that the conversation goes slightly different this way or slightly different that way. And so I've got something for you guys that I think you're going to like in starting conversations. And this is, you know, Keely mentioned that I'm not a shy person anymore. That's just a show. Like me being all excited and I go out to my toy hauler on a Wednesday morning just because I yell and scream and get loud and whatever. I'm actually typically not like that. Like if you were to see me in my home, or, you know, let's say after this, I'm going to go cook breakfast for my kids as they're waking up as soon as we're done here. I'm a pretty quiet, reserved person. I've seen so many people do trainings and they're just like and just so dull. I've spent thousands of dollars knowing that, hey, like when you sit and train somebody and you communicate, you got to catch their attention. You've got to get all the voice inflections, and you got to go, you know, you got to make somebody smile and all this stuff. And so for Keely to say that I'm not shy anymore, I actually am. I actually still would consider myself shy. And so it's hard. It's very hard to get out there and meet people for me. I have to force myself to do that. Yes, you know, and I think what I can say is that it has gotten a heck of a lot easier because I've been mastering a skill for the last, let's see, how long ago did I buy Renatus? 4.5, a little over 4.5 years ago. Ever since then, I've decided, you know what, I need to master this skill of meeting people, right? So, all right, let me share with you guys. So, and I'm a pacer, so I'm going to pick up my iPad here and I'm going to walk around. So I met with a gentleman, and the reason we started, you know, engaging in conversation deeper, you know, obviously, you know, meeting each other, how's it going, where are you from, where's the family, you know, how's the family, whatever. And then I dropped the words, right? So step one in creating intrigue. All right, so step one, you drop the line. I mean, and you can drop whatever line you want. Like Jeff was saying, you could drop the line velocity banking if you want, right? But I love personally the investing, in, how do you make an N? First you go up, there you go. Investing in real estate. I say it just like this, no differently. Do not put the words real estate first, because oftentimes people will think real estate agent or realtor. You don't want them to think realtor, you want them to think investor. And so I start with the word investing in real estate. And I say it just like this, no differently every single time. Because if I say the words real estate investor or real estate investing, I oftentimes have to do a bunch of cleanup, and people are like, oh, you're an agent. And I'm like, no, that's and oftentimes, you know, and I love agents, don't get me wrong, but agents have a stigma about them where people think, oh, you're an agent, you're just trying to get me to sell a house, my house, or you're trying to get me to buy a house with you or whatever, right? And I find that every now and again, or I would find that every now and again when I was talking to people. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to change how I approach it. I'm going to say investing in real estate. I've done that ever since. Okay, so I love to drop the line, and then I sit, and so step two is I sit and watch. I watch their face, I watch their actions, I watch their tonality, I watch their emotion, right? What happens in their brain when I say the words investing in real estate, right? I want to see, I basically tell myself that this is the moment that I become a detective of where they're at. Where are they at when it comes to investing in real estate, right? And I've said, yes, I have said this like slight variations before, but it just depends on the person, right? I said this once where I was talking to somebody and he was telling me about all of his success in his business. And, and it was very appropriate because we were talking about, stuff like, and I was asking him, he's talking about success in his business. And I was excited for him. I was like, that's so cool. And I was like, so do you already invest? And then I just shut up, pause. I shut up and I listen. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, so do you already invest in real estate? And it started the conversation that way, right? And so because to me, anything they say, oh, you know what? Let me actually give you guys ground zero here. Let me back this up. All right, let's talk about ground zero, right? I look for the reason. Whoops. I look for the reason to move to step 2. All right, so look for the reason to move to step 2. I look for a reason, right? Anything they say, I'm listening. I'm listening to whatever it is they say that I'm like, bam, he just said it. And what he just said or what she just said is the opportunity for me to make it very normal to say, oh my gosh, do you invest in real estate, or do you already invest in real estate, or have you ever considered investing in real estate, or whatever? Did you already start getting into it? Have you ever done it? Have you ever thought about it? Getting into investing in real estate, whatever it is they say, I don't care. Let's see, let me give you a couple examples. Oh yeah, we're about to have our first kid. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That's so cool. Congratulations. Hey, have you guys ever considered getting involved in real estate investing? I know when I had my first kid, the first thing I could think was, I need a raise. I need a raise at my job because I've been told that kids are expensive. And so my wife is pregnant with our first kid and I'm thinking, I need a raise. I need a raise at my job. But what can I do? Oh my gosh, I should buy a rental property. And that's my story. That's how I originally got connected to Renatus. Wife is pregnant. I'm thinking I need a raise at my job. There's no way I'm going to do that. I'm a roofer, for crying out loud, making $13.50 an hour. And so I'm like, rental property. I could get a raise every time I buy a rental property. AKA every time my wife has a kid, we should buy a rental property because that's going to pay for the kid. Right? So anyway, it doesn't matter. People say things like, again, like the guy, oh my gosh, yeah, like my business. I'm trying to remember what the last time I said with somebody where he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm just asking about himself. I'm asking about his family. I'm asking about his occupation. I'm asking about his recreation, other than work, what's he most passionate about? And he's like, oh yeah, my business is doing really well and this and that. And I'm it's been super exciting. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Again, in my mind, there's my reason. He's doing well. His business is doing well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do you already invest in real estate? Okay, anyway, you guys get it. So ground zero, look for the reason in every conversation. Step 2, drop the line, investing in real estate. And then you just watch. And if you've ever seen my 4 boxes training, and let me just briefly, talk about this. And if they say, if they start saying things around like, yes, I've always thought about that, or maybe you can kind of help them. You're like, oh yeah, in my experience, I feel like I meet people who say that they've got money, but they just don't have time. They want to be a bank, and when it comes to real estate investing, and still make double-digit interest rates as a bank in real estate. Because yeah, the bank right now, I mean, I just saw somebody yesterday got quoted 2.65% interest on a 30-year mortgage. That's amazing. So if you want to be a bank on real estate, you don't want to be that kind of a bank. You want to be a bank that's making 10% or more. And so that's again one type of person. Now this could be different for everybody, but lately what I've been saying, like Keely was saying, I think I've put to work over $13.5 million in real estate, in private money into real estate. And so lately, like I've been saying, like, oh yeah, with like $100,000 or more, you could be a bank and make double-digit interest. Now, when I was just getting started, obviously, I was a little more like, hey, do you have any money at all that you want to put into real estate? And built up over time. But these days, yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, if you have anything less than 100 grand, like, yeah, it's not really worth my time. I've got people begging me to put their money into real estate to have millions of dollars. And so, yeah, like, yeah, I started smaller. You know, do you have 10? Do you have 20? Do you have 30? Do you have, smaller amounts to get into real estate and be a bank? Next type of person is, because again, I'm sitting and I'm just watching. I'm sitting and I'm watching, right? And now this obviously we go and have this conversation. This is for my friend that's like, oh yeah, I talked to one person about marketing. No, I talk to people about whatever that get them excited. I am not just going to push marketing on every single person. And what's funny is some people say, oh well, Daine, the marketing experience, Renatus is the best income opportunity in the world. Yes, it is. And this is the reason I got awarded the most 5 stars created in this last conference, last national conference, is because I will focus on what they want to focus on in their own time. Not every single person is going to get crazy excited about the marketing opportunity. Now, let me follow up by saying this. Everybody will eventually be interested in the marketing. And I mean everybody eventually will. Why? Because it's inevitable. It is inevitable. When you create any amount of success, you will naturally, it's human nature. You will naturally want to help somebody else. Whether that is a paid help or if that is a charitable help, it doesn't matter. You will want to help somebody else. And that moment comes when you are inspired. That is why people like myself, when I first joined Renatus, and I know, and you guys have probably heard me say this, when I first joined Renatus, I did a little bit of Googling, Renatus, what is Renatus? Is Renatus a scam? Whatever it is, I did my Googling. And I find out that a bunch of people were calling it an MLM, and I'm like, and I tell my 5-star, I'm like, dude, I'm not joining your stupid real estate MLM. I'm about to drop 20 grand, and I just found out that this is an MLM, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing this. Again, I'm really shy and really scared of people. Whatever. I have, of course, I got my reasons that I might not recognize, but yeah, like. Anyway, we don't need to go there. But the moment I became inspired was the moment that I was like, every single person needs to know about Renatus. All of them, literally all the persons need to know about Renatus and what they're after. what their mission is, right? They want to help 1 million people. There's, I think, 30,000 students. So we got a long way to go. They want to help 1 million people to have enough tools and resources and connections and knowledge to build their own financial freedom, whatever that means for them, right? Anyway, moving on. So second type of person. Again, I'm just watching. I'm a detective. I watch. I say the words investing in real estate. I watch. I sit and I watch, right? Or like our friend Jeff, where he's like, hey, like I am inspired, right? This is a perfect example. And Jeff, if you're okay, if I don't want to say pick on you, but if I use our example there, Jeff is inspired about velocity banking. Therefore, that is what he's going to talk about. You will talk about what you are inspired in. How do you get inspired? You increase knowledge, you increase experience. And it doesn't even have to be experience. Oh my gosh. Like if you guys don't take anything else out of this call, this is the one thing I would hope that you take. That inspiration. Sorry guys, I gotta go on a tangent here. Inspiration, where do you get it? Where does it come from? Inspiration. Inspiration comes from your own knowledge. When you build knowledge, inspiration can come, doesn't always though, but it can. But when you secure your knowledge with an experience, when you secure that knowledge with an experience, and here's the craziest thing, it doesn't even have to be like a full-blown success story, made $1 million, got $100,000 discount, paid off my house in 3 years kind of experience. I remember the first time that I really became inspired was the first time I made basically my first offer on a property. I had one experience under my belt and it didn't even go well. I didn't even buy the house. The guy didn't even say yes. In fact, that was the experience that I learned, like, oh, to make a true offer, I have to fill out a real estate purchase contract, sign it, and hand it to him. But my first attempt at making an offer, I remember becoming inspired because I remember watching a bunch of classes in Renatus and taking action, and I had my first experience under my belt, and there I was. Oh my gosh, I can see that this is going to work. Even though the guy said no, even though the guy's like, no, I'm not selling my house to an investor. I'm going to sell my house on the retail open market. I'm going to give top dollar for it. I kind of offended the guy, but whatever. That's where the inspiration began. When knowledge meets experience, and doesn't even have to be the blown out of proportion success story. You're a prodigy in the real estate. No. Like, yeah, I made an offer. I made an offer on a property based on the knowledge that I'm building, and you get inspired. It's crazy because you took action. It's almost like the success gods are following you around and waiting to see what you're actually going to do with your knowledge that you're getting from and through Renatus. Like, seriously, I mean, even after this call, the success gods are going to sit around and say, all right, what are you going to do with this information that's entering your ears right now and maybe spinning around in your head a little bit? Is this going to go into your heart? Is this going to go out your ear? And you just like, oh yeah, that felt good for an hour. Or are you actually going to go and create an experience? Even if it fails, even if you make a mistake. And by golly, the moment you create the experience, you become inspired. Right? All right, back to the ranch. Back to the ranch here. You create inspiration from knowledge and experience. Our friend Jeff has been inspired in velocity banking. And so that's what he's going to talk about, right? And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But moving on. Next type of person. You're sitting there talking. You're a detective, and somebody's, you know, you say the words investing in real estate or velocity banking or whatever. You know, in fact, I would probably suggest don't say velocity banking like that, because all they're going to do is just go and Google it. But you start just talking about, don't talk about the definition, or sorry, don't talk about the term velocity banking. Talk about the definition of velocity banking. Don't say that, in other words, don't try to explain velocity banking without saying the word velocity banking. Say things like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I saw a real estate investor bust out how he gets rid of the crazy expensive mortgage that where people pay 2.5 times the house over the 30 years, and he trades it in for lines of credit that are calculated on a daily simple average. And by golly, they're paying houses off in like a third of the time by just getting rid of the mortgage. It's great, right? And so again, talking definitions, and however you understand it, that's fine. But again, just creating intrigue, and it has to be in like 60 seconds or less. Anyway, moving on. I've got so many tangents. I hope you guys are following me here. Next type of person, you say the words investing in real estate, and you notice, you watch whether they have money or no money. It doesn't matter. The difference here is time. This person, when you drop those lines, investing in real estate, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, that's so cool. I love investing in real estate because I've whatever it is, because I bought a property. And I'm just thinking back to conversations I've had in just the last 7 days. Yeah, I actually own a property. I bought my first rental property in Indiana. I bought it for 50 grand. And so I bought my first rental property, and oh my gosh, I've enjoyed that. I get cash flow from it. This and that, right? I'm getting money, and I want to do more. Okay. So, oh yeah, like I've always thought about it, never done it before. I always wanted to flip a house. Oh, I always wanted to buy an apartment complex or whatever, right? The difference that they begin to tell you is, I want to spend time doing real estate investing, right? Now, they might answer like this. They might be like, oh yeah, I'm a realtor. You say I'm a real estate investor, that brings up in their minds, hey, I could serve you. I could help you in your quest of investing in real estate because I'm a realtor. Or you say, oh, investing in real estate, like, oh, I'm a contractor, right? They might tell you, I've got skills. Oh, I'm a title agent. Oh, I'm an inspector. Ooh, I'm an insurance agent. I insure investment properties. I am what am I missing here? Realtor, contractor, title agent, inspector. I'm a lender. Ooh, I do mortgages. Right? I just spoke to somebody yesterday. Oh, I'm a lender. I could help people get investment mortgages, right? And that's in their space. Obviously, here in Renatus, we know that you don't need a mortgage to buy investment properties. You certainly can. I mean, in the last 4.75 years since joining Renatus, I mean, to this day, I've still never used my credit to pick up a real estate investment property. I am about to start, but it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I could still use my credit. If I wanted to. I didn't need to until now, but yeah, might as well. And so anyway, lenders, you name it, right? Any type of person that serves investors, right? And of course, we have the people that are like, ooh, I just want to be an investor. I just want to be a CEO investor, the person who finds the deal, makes the offer, the person that coordinates all of these people, property managers, the person who basically puts the deal together, gets all the people together to do the deal, to fix it up, to maintain it, to get it rented, to turn it into an income producing asset, right? Whatever type of deal it is. this is, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but this is probably me and you. I'm not a realtor, contractor, title agent, inspector. I don't have any licenses for anything, right? This could be even an attorney. Now, some people are like, ooh, I am a realtor myself, and I'm going to be the CEO, and I want to double dip. That's fine. Doesn't matter. These people want to spend time in the real estate industry. Okay, next, moving on. Again, we're just listening. We say the words, we say the magic words, and then we sit and watch, right, with the googly eyes. Actually, don't do that because you might scare them. But we sit and watch. Now, this type of person is like, ooh, I don't have money, and I probably have all the time in the world, and that's the reason I have a real estate with an underlying problem, right? I'm actually going to draw this to perfect scale just like this. Notice that the real estate has a problem underneath it. They've got some real estate with some kind of underlying problem with the real estate or with life. Doesn't matter. Something is going on, right? Just bought a house from a gentleman a couple months ago where he owned some real estate. The real estate was fine. Mortgages were paid up, you know, everything functioned decently at least. I mean, it's definitely outdated, but he had some underlying problems in his personal life where he was about to lose his job if he had some other debts. It wasn't his mortgage. Mortgage was paid up. He had some other debts, some personal loans that were about to go to collections. And if they went to collections, he had a job, he had a government job that if he had a collection on his credit, they find out about it, he loses his security clearance, AKA his job, because he needed the security clearance for his job. And so he's like, I own real estate. I've got the underlying problem, not necessarily related to the real estate, but the real estate could help solve the problem. And he's like, Daine, will you please buy my house? And we bought the house at like a $98,000 below appraisal purchase price. And he still said, thank you at the end of the transaction. He shook my hand. He looked me in the eye. He shook my hand at the closing table. We actually happened to show up at the title office at the same time. He looked me in the eyes and shook my hand and said, thank you. Thank you for buying my house. I can now solve my problem and I can start fresh in my life. And to this day, he's still like, he thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world. In fact, I got invited to go up to see the Armory at the Hill Air Force Base. I got to go see the Armory hold a grenade launcher. It was really cool. I didn't get to shoot it though. Bummer, but oh well. I can imagine, right? So anyway, these people, they have real estate, they have an underlying problem. Now this is, you are going to solve that problem by making them an offer. What does an offer look like? Hey, how about I do this for you? Or, hey, I think I can do this for you. Or whatever it is, and then you put it on paper and you solve their problem, right? Now, all from one little question. All these different people go these different ways, right? This is how I find deals. This is how I find Renata's students. This is how I find money to do my real estate deals, by just saying these words. Now, here's a cool one. Guess where? Because not always will this perfect sentence move to a real estate deal. Just like this, not always will you go, oh, investing in real estate, and they're like, ooh, I have a property. Yes, that has happened to me multiple times actually, but more deals than not go like this, where I say the words investing in real estate. They are a realtor, they are a lender, they are a title agent, they are an inspector, they are a contractor, right? And so I say those words to those people, and they don't necessarily want to become a CEO investor, but they are like, oh my gosh, I know someone. I know somebody that needs some help, right? This is where I find most of my real estate deals, like this. I talk to those people. I say the words investing in real estate. I make connections. I make a friend, right? That's the first thing. I make a friend. And then we have that conversation and they say, oh my gosh, I know somebody that you need to talk to, that you might be able to help. Now, check this out. I hope, have there been any comments that I need to address before we end? We just hit the top of the hour, so I got to wrap it up.
Questions?
Okay, cool. So in essence, here, I think I shared this once before. Watch what happens when you try this 1 through 10 times. When you do this between the first and the 10th time in your life, right? In other words, you create 10 experiences. Remember how to get inspiration? Remember how to become inspired? Knowledge and experience. So if I attach these two, in fact, here, I'm going to do this. When you create 1 through 10 experiences, you are going to, your learning is going to be the biggest in this phase. If you have not created 10 experiences already in doing this, in talking, investing in real estate with people, you're in for a real treat. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you let it, yes, it all comes back to your mindset. And if you make one mistake and you beat yourself up about it, if you beat yourself up about one mistake in one conversation, I'll tell you right now, you'll probably never have success. I mean, I'm just being honest. You probably will not create success if you beat yourself up every time you make a mistake. But if you go through each of these 10 experiences and you drop those lines and you make a mistake here and you're like, ooh, okay, here's the learnings. Here's the learnings from that one. Here's the learnings from that one. Here's the learnings from that one. Believe me, this is where you become or begin to become a master. And this is how you will become a master. You go create one experience where you can tell a story. And I'm going to give you this charge right now. Every single time you talk to someone, I want you to tell the story. Because now you're going to start caring about it. You're going to start caring about the story of that person. Let me come back to here. You're going to start caring about the story of the person that you drop the line and you go, let me change colors here, and you go this way, like, oh, no, you know what? They're not this person. They're this person. Oh, you know what? Actually, this, oh, no, here, right? You create a story. Now you care about every single person you talk to. And you tell the story. I don't care who you tell it to. If you tell it to yourself, if you go back and tell yourself the story, like, okay, how did that go? I opened the conversation like this. I dropped some intrigue, and then I'm remembering their face. I'm remembering like, oh yes. Again, 1 through 10 can be clunky. It's going to be really clunky. But you know what? If you let it, you'll become inspired. Now, this is cool. Imagine what it looks like on 11 through 20. You do this 1 through 10 times, and let's say you tell the story to somebody. I don't care if you tell the story on these calls on a Wednesday morning. If you're like, hey, Daine, I got a story for you. Obviously we don't have time to go through every single person and tell all 10, but you tell the story to somebody because now you care about how it goes. You don't care about the outcome. You care about how you are trying to help the person. 1 through 10 is clunky. 11 through 20, you begin your real journey to mastery. If anybody can guess how many sets of 10 I've done in my life, in my Renatus career, right? Usually I usually try to do it in sets of 10 because it's smaller, it's manageable. I can make a list of 10 people and have a conversation with those 10 people, or I create, right? Because you got outbound and you got inbound. Outbound is like you reach out to somebody and you start a conversation, you drop the words investing in real estate. Inbound, you make a Facebook post like, hey, you know, I just watched a real estate investor break down this real estate deal for me. Check it out. They got a $100,000 discount on it. You take a picture, you post it, whatever. That would be inbound. You got outbound, you got inbound. Either one's fine, but you create the stories. 1 through 10 is clunky. When you make it to number 11 and beyond is when you really begin your mastery at becoming a problem solver, right? Last on the list, and I won't spend a lot of time on this, but last on the list is everybody on the left side of this red line is a pioneer. These are your pioneers. These are the people that are going to do business with you today. Everybody over on this side of the line, you don't really care if they have time. You don't really care if they have money. They are just plain old not interested, maybe cranky, maybe just downers. They, you know, I call these the poo-pooers, whatever, right? Yeah, these people have a warm place in your heart, but they're just not interested, right? You drop the line investing in real estate and they're like, just nothing happens. Or negativity happens, right? These people consume real estate. They consume real estate investor products. These people rent from real estate investors. These people purchase retail homes from real estate investors. They purchase, these people purchase mortgages to buy their real estate, right? There's so many opportunities to sell your real estate investing product, your fix and flip, your rental to these types of people. Yeah, maybe that person might not be your tenant, but the mindset. These are the people that real estate investors, these are the people as to why real estate investors exist, because they are going to pay for it. They're going to pay for your properties, your retail flips, your rentals, whatever it is, your contract for deeds, whatever it is that you're doing. We need them. Don't hate on them. Don't let them make you feel bad. Love them, because they're going to make you rich. Okay, so last thing today. I already gave you one thing to take away. That if you take away one thing, that's it. I gave you the one thing already. But just remember this: 1 through 10 is going to be clunky. 11 through 20, that's when you begin mastery. You look at any Renatus student that created any amount of success, and it started beyond 11 through 20. Okay, hope that helps. Any comments that I need to make real fast, or any comments that I need to? Yes, cool. I love you guys. Cool. Sounds good. Perfect. All right, guys. Love you all. Have a great rest of your Wealth Wednesday. Go make something happen and tell me about it next week. Have a good one, guys.